Hi guys, welcome to the Cloud 4 Academy Microservice monitoring tool session. We are going to configure microservice monitoring tool which is Grafana and Prometheus. So these tools are open source and we are going to integrate with the Springboot microservice and then we are going to monitor that session. Thank you for listening and watching guys. Let's get into the session. Hi guys, welcome to the Cloud 4 Academy monitoring session, right? So this monitoring we are using in the microservices, right? How we are monitoring our microservices. So if microservice A is called microservice B, and what is the latency of the microservice invocation, and how many times the service is called, and what is the CPU consumptions, and what is the memory consumption. So is there any spike rate? So if there is any spike comes, and we are creating the alert, and then sending to the DevOps team, and DevOps team seeing the alert, and based on that they will find the root cause the issues, and then they will fix it, right? So if any issues in the system while during the, because of monitoring we are doing the monitoring, because if there is any issue in the system like CPU issues or component issue or cluster issue or database issue, any issues comes, there is a spike will come. So based on that, DevOps team will do the of analysis and then find the root cause, and then they will fix immediately, right? So the microservices we are using Prometheus and Grafana, is both are open source tool. Prometheus is using the time series database internally, which will pull the data metrics from Springboot. The metrics endpoint URLs is exposing by the actuator, so it's already there out of the box capability, and it will consume that, and it will store the data, right? And Prometheus, it will we can query the Prometheus query language, and we can query the data. And but Grafana, we can just using Grafana is a graphical interface which is used to visualizing the data, which has a number of data source. So like it's example, Prometheus is a data source. It will collect the data from Prometheus. Grafana will collect the data, and it will visualizing the visualizing the metrics in the graphical way. Like there are multiple graphical way, we can predefined dashboards are there. We can find the Grafana dashboard and ID, and then we can load that, like the thread dump, like JVM dump, like Spring Boot metrics. There are multiple number of dashboards are available in the online, so we can load that and we can show that. Apart from that, we can customize our queries, we can write it and we can show that, right? So all those things can happen in Grafana. We can do that, right? So but this monitoring tool will not do any kind of tracing or logging, because tracing or logging is, for example, we can use Zipkin is open source, we can use that, right? It will not do that. It will monitoring the system. That's what we are using. We are going for monitoring tool like Prometheus and Grafana, right? Thank you for watching guys. Let's get into the configuration changes guys. So we are going to configure the Prometheus and Grafana. So in order to do that, we need to install a Docker in our Windows system. So Docker is very straightforward, but we need to configure it like the install Docker on Windows. If you say Windows, you can, they are giving the multiple steps are there. Docker Windows installation, you can go there and we can install it. And then we need to we are going to use to set up the Prometheus and Grafana. We are using Kubernetes APIs package. We are using to deploy that, to configure that. Okay, so for that we need to install a we are going to set up in a single cluster setup, right? In Kubernetes, single cluster node Kubernetes we are going to set up is called Minikube. Basically we are using in the local, because before going to the cloud environment we can test our Kubernetes changes in Minikube, right? Minikube is single node, only one node we are setting the clusters. But if you are going for cloud, like cloud providers like GKS or Google Cloud, Kubernetes Engine, or AKS, EKS, they setting that, and we on top of it we can set up the cluster using Kubernetes. But whereas in Minikube is a local, we can set up in our local system using a single cluster node, right? So using Kubernetes API we are setting the Grafana and Prometheus configurations. So, and I have set up the Springboot application. Springboot application, small application I have set up. I just giving this the main configuration, management.endpoints at web exposure dot include health metrics and Prometheus. So this is a configuration, and the pom.xml we need to add a couple of dependencies. So I can show that. So first dependency MongoDB. MongoDB is where, since we are using this application, I have configured MongoDB, and web is a web module, and then the main module is Lembo. Lembos we need to use. Lembo also just for getter setter generation. So we are using Lembo, right? It will automatically generate that. And then we are using theme leaf. Theme leaf is already there just for front end use, UI changes, theme leaf dialog and all. The main dependency is actuator. Actuator we need to use because actuator, so this will expose the health system health metrics endpoints, right? That's why actuator we are integrating. And then we are using micrometer registry Prometheus. This will connect the Prometheus. Micrometer will connect the Prometheus. That's why this dependency we are using. It will send the data. It will send the exposing endpoint and pull the data. Prometheus will pull the data from actuator. That's what from Springboot. That's what micrometer we are using. This is these two dependencies are major dependency we need to use, right? And time controller I just created just for number of services, how we can calculate number of times. So for that I just used time for operation. The rest controller I used. This is just I created. So now like that we can number of timer we can configure it in Spring Boot. And then we are going for next setup is we are going to Minikube. First we have to start the Docker. I already started the Docker. Once this Docker is running, see the icon is showing Docker is running, right? Once Docker is running, then what we can do is we need to build a project. Build a project, you can go there. I already build the projects, but once again I can show you Maven build and then package. So we need to build a Docker image, right? So we need to build a Docker image. So that's what we are going to do. First I build a project. So Docker file we need to host that. That's why I hosted the Docker file here. And the target I hold the Docker file. This is the Docker file. This is a Docker file. Eclipse turn JDK Alphin is a base image. From there volume temp, and then this is a jar name Google Cloud. But this is not the, once again, this is not the actual jar. I think there are two Docker file are there. Okay, this is a Docker file. So workspace, these workspace are building the jar file, are creating this jar file name we have to put, and then this is a custom jar. We can give any name here, and then we are creating that, right? Docker image. So now we build that, and then we have to create a Docker image. Docker image, how we can create? We can go to target directory. Go to target directory, and then we can build a image, a target directory. Like I am going here. Command prompt, run as administrator, cd target directory, and then docker build dot -t like cloud4 hyphen monitoring. If you use monitoring, it will build the image. So once it is building the image, then we need to, I just open this here before that. Okay, and then we have to check the Docker images. We have to tag the Docker images, right? So cloud for monitoring. So this is that we are going to, I am going to tag that Docker tag image ID, and then name of the image. What is the name of the image? Cloud monitoring. So here we need to use the Docker ID. You can say this is a Docker ID, and then image name version number v1 I am setting and entering that. And then what we are doing is, next I am going to push this image. I am going to push this image. I am pushing this image. So this will pushing the image to the registry. Once the Docker image is registry pushed, I am going to change the deployment script. There is a deployment script I have created just for deploying the microservices with the monitoring tool, right? For that I have created. I can just show that. This is a script I created, consumer SSL workload. I opened the script, and So if we see these scripts, normal deployment only, we have to have API apps one deployment, app name Springboot app, and then label Springboot app label, and then template label, and then container name. So here the image name I just copied, build image name I copied, and then always, and port number 8081, and then yeah, this is a service, we are using the service Springboot service. So we are using service TCP, and 8081 is a port number, HTTP traffic. Here the important thing is, when we are using that, we need to use monitoring, because we need to integrate the monitoring tool, right? So service monitor, and then Springboot name of the monitor, and then app name is Springboot app. So HTTP traffic actuator, this is endpoint, Prometheus endpoint we need to configure. This is very important thing when you are deploying the microservice, for especially for monitoring that, right? So if you did that and deploy into Kubernetes, then it will automatically integrate the monitoring, right? So this is a script we need to use. Okay, and then now Docker is started, image is built, and then I'm going this directory, monitoring directory, cls clear cd monitoring directory, and then what we are doing is, I'm going to check one by one. There are steps are there. First we need to install the Helm is a open source tool which is packaging, deploying the Kubernetes APIs. So it has predefined Kubernetes packages will be there. We can use that to deploy and configure Kubernetes, right? So we can use to configure that, right? Kubernetes. So we have to install the Helm is a open source packaging tool. So just Kubernetes supported tool. So we can use let's say Helm, but Helm I already installed actually. Helm, this is the installation steps. We can in Windows, we can find the steps to install the Windows. I think this step we can use the Helm, and then chmod, and then get these 3 steps. You can follow that, or you can type in Google how to install Helm in local in Minikube, Helm in Kubernetes in Windows. If you type that, you can get the steps like install Helm on Windows. If I type that, we can get the steps. Helm, installing Helm, and installing Helm, this Helm website, it will go there. Binary release, there are multiple releases are there. We can go to this package, brew, Chality, multiple things we can. For Windows, we can with WinKit we can use it, Windows, and we can install that. Once we install that in Helm, and then we can go to I just in the meantime, Minikube I have already started. So Minikube, for installing Minikube, like same thing, we install Minikube on Windows. Put install Windows. It will go to the Minikube website, and where you can find the steps to install in Windows. See, this is the steps for installing in Windows. So you can install the Minikube, right? After installing Docker, we can install the Minikube. Okay, Minikube is single cluster node. We can use Docker as a node, and one node, and we can use it. I'm just starting Minikube. I'm using Minikube start. It will start the Minikube. Once it will start with the Minikube, and then we can go to Helm repo. This step we will use that. It will use to Helm repo. I have already installed this Grafana and Prometheus, but still we can install. I can show the steps one by one. I can install once again, so that it will install again, or it will say already installed. This is the first step to install that. So still Minikube is going on. Let it comes. So we'll post that. And the Prometheus and the Grafana is a very simple configuration only, straightforward configuration. And then once we have executed that in the Kubernetes, those commands, and then we are just executing the deployment script, and it will bind the endpoint URL, and then it will show the monitoring, right? So just I'm going here, clicking this step, Helm repo, and then I'm going here, CLS clear, enter. See, it already existed selling, so it's already installed. If you not install it, will install it. That's it. Repo update. Then we have to put repo update. Repo update is will update the repository. Once updated, and then Helm install Prometheus. This step we need to execute. Helm install Prometheus. This also installing the monitoring. So if already installed, it will say already installed. So your installation cannot be reuse the name still in use. Okay, it's already used, already installed. Same thing, this is also Same thing, this also same thing it will say. And then this also installation is already used, so that's why it's saying already installation. So if you is not installed, it will install for you. The steps will work actually. So now I'm going to do the port forwarding. So we are not exposing the premises to the outside world. That's the reason I'm just doing the port forwarding in Kubernetes, so that you can access in the browser. By default do not expose, so you can access. So now I install, so I'm going to access this Prometheus URL. See, you are able to access, the Prometheus is coming. So evaluation time, and then you can see the graph and table, and here you can see that metrics. So you can execute that, you can see the query, and we can check that. And then I'm going to install Prometheus Grafana. Grafana I'm going to install. This step actually we need to follow. Helm, you need to use another command prompt, another window. I'm just going to install any directory. You can start that. Grafana also it will tell already installed. If it is already installed, it will get the password, because user ID is admin. Only we need to get the password, right? So how we can get password? I'm just entering that, it will show the password. This is a password, so we need to decrypt that. So how we can decrypt? We have decrypt decrypt base encode 64 online. So if you type like this, I think base encoder decoder, this is a decode, it will decode this file, it will decode, and yeah, this is a password, this is a password it will give. So I copied the password. Now I'm going to do port forwarding. Here also we need to do the port forwarding, because this is only access within the system, right? That's the reason I'm going to do the port forwarding. I'm doing port forwarding. Yeah, it's forwarded. Now I'm going to access this URL 8080 localhost 8080. You can check whether what is the port forwarding is doing. So I'm going to access http localhost 8080, not home, sorry. So 8080. I am doing port forwarding, so the scripts are executing, so it will take some time. So port forwarding, and then we are accessing this Grafana URL. That's it. It's very simple changes. Let me check. I just because this is not connecting, I just uninstall that Grafana, because I already installed, right? So I will try uninstall and reinstall it again. Let's see what will happen. Invalid. Uninstall, this name is invalid. There is no name called uninstall. Just try reinstalling again Grafana, because Grafana I uninstalled it. Service Grafana not found. Installing. Server not found. Okay, I think kubectl get PO running. There is no issue. Okay, let me fix this. Grafana is installed. I just uninstall and then helm install Grafana. I just executed this command, and then it was executing deployed C Grafana. Like that, when you are deploying the Prometheus, it will display this message. Since already I deployed, those messages are not showing. I just deployed the Grafana, and then doing the port forwarding. So before that, we have to find the password, right? I think password already we found it, not required, I guess. Just started that CLS. I just started this port forwarding. What will happen? We'll see. Port forwarding doing. Yeah, it's doing port forwarding, and then I'm just going to start this. Grafana also started. Grafana it will ask the password. Since already password, if you want, as I said, we need to execute this line, this command, and then it will give the encrypted password, and we need to decrypt it using the website base encode 64 to decode. It will decode this password. It will give the password already decoded, right? Same way we need to use like base encoder decoder. We can go there, copy this and then decode it. It will give the actual password. So and then you can log into that. Since Grafana is already logged in, so we went to logged in already. So if you want to sign out, you can come and you can give that logged in. And then once we went to that and Grafana, we have to select the dashboard first data source URL we need to add. We have selected data source and then Prometheus, and then what we need to do is we need to go and add the URL. So URL is already I gave here. This URL we need to give in Minikube, right? When you are deploying into Minikube, we need to give this URL. We need to give this URL. So I'm just copying this URL and I'm giving this, and then come to last step, save and test. It will be saved. Now it's saved, right? Now if you want to create the dashboard, what we can do now, we can go to the Google, like we need to type like Grafana dashboard, Grafana dashboard. We type Grafana dashboard, complete guide to Grafana. No. It will go Grafana dashboard. Grafana dashboard. If you go to Grafana dashboard, yeah, it will go to Grafana. If you type Grafana dashboard, it will go to dashboard Grafana labs. Okay, so dashboard Grafana labs, it will come. Clicks Grafana labs. If you click that, it will go down. Here we have multiple dashboards are there. Predefined RabbitMQ, Node Porter, JVM. There are multiple. Let's say I search Spring. When you search Springboot system monitor is coming, right? Just click this system monitor, go here down, and here copy to clipboard. This is the way we need is copy to clipboard. Copy this clipboard ID and then go to Grafana dashboard. Grafana, click here and then dashboard, and go to the right side, new, import, and then give the ID of the dashboard, giving dashboard, and click load button. It will load that, and then this dashboard name is already exists, so you can just click that system, and then data source we can see Prometheus. I already multiple things, but last one is 6. I selected 6. Import and override, it will import it. Yeah, it will see. Now it's not applied. Sorry, now it's not applied because we have not deployed our microservices, right? We need to deploy the microservice. So I'm just going the folder, because still we have not deployed the script, right? This is a script. We have not deployed the script. That's why it's coming like empty. So now I'm going here, select, run as administrator, cd, enter, and then deploying kubectl apply -f. What is the name of the script? This script we have to deploy. Apply. So now deployed, right? If you see how many components are deployed, you can check here. Kubectl get deployment. See, Grafana and Springboot app is deployed. If I see how many pod is started, you can check. These many pods are started. Okay, all running. One pod is Grafana is not running, but okay, let's see. And our application is started or not, we can check this. Get SVC, you can check that. Minikube service, directly you can execute that. Springboot app service, if you click that, it will load the page actually. Let us see. MongoDB Springboot service. Yeah, it's automatically it will run that actually. Check that it will load. Yeah, it's running. See, application is running. Deployed into Kubernetes. It is working. Right. So the difference between the Minikube and actual cloud Kubernetes, that is a actual cluster setup. This is only single node we can deploy our changes. Right. Now we deployed it. Applications are running. Now I'm going back to the this again. I'm going back. Grafana. I'm going to copy this URL again. What I'm typing is typing Springboot, right? So Spring Monitor, clicking Spring Monitor, go here, dashboard, copy dashboard again, coming back to Grafana, dashboard, new, import, ID, and then load, and then what it is giving. Dashboard already exists. Okay, this ID we have already given, so we'll go the different ID. We'll take that. We'll take different ID. Spring observability will take. Let's say Spring or JVM also we can take. I'm just taking Spring observability. Dashboard. Click create import, and then go here. Dashboard, new, import. URL, ID, load, and then data source we need to select. Prometheus 6 I'm selecting. Import, data source type, source is a data source is required. What is this? A data source is required. I already selected. Okay, first we need to collect the data source. Let's go to home, add our first data source, click first data source, Prometheus, select the data source, 7, data source name is 7, and then copy the URL. We will copy the URL, copy this URL, and then save it, success. Now go here, dashboard. Now we'll use same thing. Go to Grafana, Spring, System Monitor. Click that. Maybe this ID now it will work. Copy clipboard and going Spring dashboard. Delete everything. Delete the existing one. Delete. It will be deleted. Okay, now I'm going here, dashboard, create new, import, and then ID and load. Now let's see whether it's working or not. Data source 7, import. Yeah, it's working. See, now the how much heap is used, and uptimes and process open files. So this is a graph it is displaying. So monitoring graphs. So dashboard it is displaying that, right? So like that we can predefine dashboard. We can integrate that and we can show that. And if I want to, let's say I want 5 minutes or 1 hour job, I want 5 minutes, means 5 minutes graph it will show, right? So, and another thing is, another query you can go here, dashboard. You can go here, dashboard, new dashboard, add visualization. If you click add visualization, click 7, and we can type the query. Let's say quick start query. Let's say query, you can select the query. So for the bottom of the page, and then select the query. I'm saying http request count, seconds count I just added, and then scroll down, use query, and then that graph will display. See, we can select time series or chart, it means it will display a chart. See, all are Prometheus. your this last 6 hours, but we put only last 5 minutes. What will happen? URL nothing is happening, so we better release time series. So actuator, this is also 404 error. Sorry, it's okay, let me have a call. So we are just going here, and so now this also not a service. Now I'm going to start this service. Service is already started, right? So I'm just going here, minikube start, mini kubectl get svc, kubectl svc. Here you can start minikube service. So directly it will start the service, it will run the service. If you give that, it will execute that. Enter, it will execute. And then what we will see, we will see the graph, how many hits are happen, so we can see the exact that. So that's why I just started the service. Yeah, now service is started. I am refreshing, keep refreshing. How many times? 1 2 3 10 4 5 6 7 8 9. I have clicked that. Okay, and then going to click this sorry, vegetables also, vegetables. So it's not coming, vegetables, fruits, clicking fruits coming, and then click fruits again, display fruits, vegetables coming, displaying. So again I'm going back, fruits. Okay, now I clicked a couple of times. I'm going back to the graph, and I'm just refreshing that. Now if you see, this is a high level. See, it's talking top, which URL it is. Get method URL is homepage URL, URL is homepage URL, success, state is success, and it is how many times called. See, spike is high. So this is what yellow one. This is what the application is running, the service is running, application is running with a high spike rate, high spike. This second one is the REST API. The first one is the homepage URL. See the hit. If you want to see in bar chart, you can see the bar chart also. See the highly called this bar chart. So this is a way we have to monitor, and we can write a query and we can display. I just used HTTP server request second count, so you can go there and search query, number of query if you want, and run queries. If you want to change the custom code, we can custom query also, you can write. And this is a way we have to write a query in Grafana, and we can see the graph or application how it is running. We can monitor that, right? So out of the box dashboard also is there. We can use whichever dashboard you want, we can bring it. And if you want to create a custom query, we can write a custom query. I just write a custom query also. I just selected the query, already predefined query, and see how many times service is called. So for the HTTP server request, so this query I written. Okay, this way we have to monitor our application. This configuration is very simple. Just few steps we have to execute in the minikube. Once we started the minikube, we have to execute the very simple steps. Actually, these 4 or 5 steps only required, and then it will automatically configure. And we have to execute this script. This script we have to execute to connect to the monitoring tool and the application, and then we have to deploy the application, and we can check that, right? So if I go here, you can check how many. So now I cancel it, close it. If you want to see how many parts are started, we can check get PO. So these many parts are running. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. We are looking forward to join in. We are looking forward to join in Cloud4 Academy. Thank you guys.